Hi everyone, I am Martina Cunha and you're listening to Backstage Talk. Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Backstage Talk. Today's episode is really special for me because I have here with me two amazing friends that I met in 2022. Uh, After a lot of engagement and a lot of interaction on social media, I first met them through Twitter. Then, when I started going down the rabbit hole on TikTok, I started seeing their videos, and then we met in real life, and it was a dream come true. I have here with me Ashley Hufford and Kate Reinking. They're both theater influencers. They're both theater artists that have outside of theater day jobs. So, Kate, Ashley, thank you so much for being here. I absolutely admire both of you. So, welcome to Backstage Talk. I'm really happy.
I'm so yeah, I'm so excited to be here. This is so fun.
Thank you.
So, I know the two of you because you're theater influencers. Like, I'm just gonna drop that in. But who are each of you? Like, what would be a 15-second introduction you would give someone about each of you?
Ooh, that's a good question. It's hard because I feel like the theater thing and the influencer thing are obviously connected, but
Yeah.
like the theater thing existed like totally on its own before. Like I was seeing probably not no, I was seeing still like a lot of I saw over 100 shows the year before COVID happened. Like so it wasn't like and I wasn't posting anywhere. Like I was posting like my Instagram stories. But like so it's weird. It's still funny to me that I'm like, oh yeah, like I do theater like content, but the theater love started a long time ago.
And you also work in politics, right?
Yeah, so my day job, I'm a video producer. I run a video team for a like progressive nonprofit, and we're working on organizing towards the election because every election, but there's a lot of 24 is a big election, so everybody vote.
And Kate?
Yeah, so I'm Kate Reinking. I guess also a theater influencer. It's so weird to say. Like Ashley, my love of theater started way before posted it online, but I'm a software engineer by day, and so seeing theater keeps me sane. Uh And I love talking about it because in the world of software engineering, I don't know anybody else that loves theater as much as I do. And so there's not somebody that I can like go to the water cooler and start talking about this random off Broadway play. And so so I started posting that online, and that's kind of how that world opened up.
So both of you literally ended up being theater influencers, but out of the blue. Like by the grace of the universe, started talking about that on your stories on TikTok, and here you are because both of you have a pretty big following now.
Yeah, so I mean, not to jump in front of Kate, but I think both of us kind of have a similar story. Where like during COVID, we were at home. I was living in Toronto at the time. I had moved up for work to Canada in 2019, and I was living in an apartment by myself. And I had like two people I knew in Canada, and I was stuck. And we were just at home all the time. And so the first video that I made that like went really like viral was like it was just a video of me like organizing my playbills, and because I had like 1,000, I mean, not 1,000, but like, no, like a lot of playbills. And so it was just like, here's how I organize my playbills. And then that video got like 300,000, which at the time was like, I mean, it's still a big number, but like at the time was like astronomical. Like I was like, who cares about this? Like I was just bored. Like I was bored at home and I was like, I have no one to talk to. So I'm talking to myself and then I'm going to post it on the internet. And yeah, so it begins.
Yeah, very, very similar story. I started TikTok before the pandemic by like a month, because I I had an entirely different career. I was a supervisor at an attraction at a theme park, and because most of the employees were like in that late teens, early
Mhm.
20s, they were all on TikTok, and some of them had gotten big. And so I was like, oh, I'll be a supportive boss. I'll like go check it out. And so um, I started just browsing TikTok, and I was like, this would be a cool platform to talk about, like, to document my theater going, because I'd only used Instagram before. And so I did like 3 videos, I think, of like me going to Escape to Margaritaville and this play at the Geffen, and they were awful. They're still up online, so you can see them. They are the worst things I've ever created. And then the pandemic happened, and I stopped that entirely, and I got laid off. I moved back home with my parents, and I was like, I'm going insane. So I just started talking about theater, because that was the only thing that the only way that I could talk about theater. My dad that I was living with at the time uh isn't into theater at all. He doesn't know what I'm talking about. So it just it just came down to trying to find a community, and that's exactly what I found. And yeah, my first video to kind of make it big was me ranting about how somebody had dissed Legally Blonde in one of my comments, and how it's a trash movie to musical remake. And so I went on this rant about how even though A Little Night Music and Legally Blonde are both based off of films, they both have merit, even though they are very different. And then that kind of, it did not do 300,000 views. It was like 5,000. But for me at the time, I was like, what?
Okay, that was when I followed you. I literally
Yeah.
That was the video that I saw, and I was like, well, this person follow. Like, but okay, sorry. Funnier is that I also had TikTok. I started TikTok right before the pandemic because I used to work in sports, and so my first viral TikTok was of Charlie D'Amelio dancing at the NBA All-Star game. It's like from the stands of the NBA All-Star game, and I just was like, ha ha ha. I knew nothing about TikTok. I was like, this will do well because it's Charlie D'Amelio. Yeah. And it like got like I think I got like 1 million. It was the first TikTok I ever posted. But I just think it's so funny because it's Charlie D'Amelio dancing at the NBA All-Star game. A classic.
Love that. Love that.
So, just like my content. That's basically what my content is now.
I love that. So, what is your biggest theater hot take? Because we're talking about rants here from someone dissing a musical on TikTok, and it's a pretty loaded question, I know, but feel free to fire the gun.
I mean, I posted this one on Twitter a few weeks ago, but my biggest theater hot take is that I don't think shows should last longer than 10 years on Broadway.
I saw that and I was like, maybe it's true, even if it's our favorite shows, because you did that caveat.
Yes.
And it was like,
I love Wicked. Close it.
Yeah, I love The Lion King, but 25 years, I hope to be at the 30th celebration, but yeah, we need the space.
No, exactly. And it's not even just the space, it's I want regional theater productions of Wicked, and maybe I'd be okay if they lasted on Broadway longer, if they were able to release the rights.
You want the Hamburg flying Elphaba around the theater.
Yes. I want Lion King in a black box with like finger puppets. Give me anything. Try something new. But there's something so stagnant about just having the one production that you can go see.
I know. I haven't been back to Lion King since I was like, I think a freshman in college. I think I went for my 18th birthday, and like I kind of don't want to go back because I feel like at the time it felt like so spectacular. But I'm like, now I'm like, you see like Life of Pi and you see like Milky White, and you're like, these puppets have like, and they're still just puppets, but I think we've come like so far that I feel like the Lion King puppets, I'm gonna be like, oh no.
I did just have to go see it again, because it was my last Broadway house. And I felt the same. I was like, I don't know if I want to go see it again, because I saw like original cast. It was my second Broadway show ever. It's such an imprinted memory, but I don't know. It's kind of worth going
that's
back.
Good to know. No, that is good to know.
Yeah. It's definitely not as good as the first time you see it, but
you keep the memories, because I did the same 10 years apart from because Lion King was my first Broadway show in 2008, and then I saw it again in 2018, and it was like, it's a 10-year difference. Of course, there are things that I was like, this is for children, but then again I was like, this is Disney theatricals, shows, right? But it's one of my favorite shows. So yeah. Ashley, what would be your theater hot take?
I don't know. I'm so bad at hot takes. I really am because I the problem is for the most part I really just like things, and so I think I struggle coming up with like really scorching hot takes.
Yeah, it
Um,
happens to me too.
I know. I'm like trying to think. Well, come back to me. Let me think. Let
Yeah,
me think
I
about
we
it.
will, we will. So you two have been pretty active lately in a conversation online about shows increasing their marketing efforts with influencers and how influencer marketing has affected the entertainment industry. So, how do you think that has happened? How do you think that influencer marketing has affected shows, their engagement, our audiences?
I mean, I think not to like, but like we led the way. Like we started making content, and then shows started seeing success, and then shows started reaching out to be like, "Wait, we want you to make content for us." As opposed to like, I mean, and again, like we were doing, I've done, 1,000 videos for shows for free. Like I've actually don't think I've ever been paid. I've gotten tickets. I don't think I've ever gotten like paid to make a video. Really, that it wasn't like that for a show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Trying to think. I don't think so. Um, and so I think that like when I hit like 25K, I think was the first time that someone was like, "Why don't you just send a show an email and see if they'll give you a ticket?" And I was like, "I can't do that." I was like, no one's gonna give me free tickets." And then I did, and then they were like, "Yeah," and I was like, "What? Me?" And it was wild. Like the first time that I went to like a Broadway show that like I had not paid money for, I was like, "They're gonna kick me out. Like they're gonna realize that I'm not the New York Times. They're gonna be like, what are you doing here?" Like, or like I went to DC 6 months apart, and the first time I went, I bought tickets to 4 different shows. We had a good time. The second time I went, I was like, I'm just gonna email and like see. And I like emailed the Kennedy Center, and I was like, I'd love to go see Oklahoma on tour. And I was like, they're gonna laugh at me because it's the Kennedy Center. And they were like, sure. Would you also want to see Mean Girls while you're here? And I was like,
Why
yeah.
not?
And I was just like shocked. Like it was, and I was just like, oh, me? Like, I don't know. It's still, every time a show that I really want to see reaches out, and I still am not great at it because, well, I tend to jump and buy tickets early, and then they'll reach out and I'll be like, guess I'm going a second time. But it is a cool, still surreal experience.
Yeah, I still can't reach out to shows. I've reached out to one and got turned down, but then I got to go see it for free the third time. So, it comes around.
I can't believe you don't reach out to shows. I mean, I will say I don't reach out to Broadway shows. I reach out to a lot of off-Broadway shows. I reach out to a lot of regional houses. Not always. Like when I went to my LA trip I just did, like I wasn't reaching out to be like, give me Secret Garden tickets because I was like, they don't need me to. They're not going to give me Secret Garden. They don't need me to go see Secret Garden. Like it's already people are seeing Secret Garden. But yeah, I mean, I'm seeing the Perfect Crime on
Oh, yes,
on
yes.
Tuesday, which is the longest running show in the maybe the whole country, unclear. So running for 36 years. It's their anniversary on Tuesday. Never been. And I was like, I was gonna send them a note and be like, would love to come to your anniversary show. I've never seen the show. And within 5 minutes, they emailed me back and they were like, great, 2 tickets in your name. Come pick them up. See you Tuesday. Also, would you want to interview our lead? I was like, okay.
I
Why
love
not?
that. I love.
Yeah. Yeah. I just think it's such an interesting development because marketing firms have always used social media, right? But now it feels like in partnering with influencers, the content feels so much more organic. Like I feel like it's very different from a show posting press
Mhm.
footage or b-roll. It's so much different than doing that when you have somebody just like in their living room talking about going to see a show or somebody that just relates to the average theater goer as opposed to somebody that's behind the scenes. And I think that there's definitely perks in doing both of those in showing the behind the scenes footage but also just getting people to go see the show and showing like, hey, the audience for this Broadway show isn't just you know seniors who can afford it.
Yeah, wealthy people that can go once a week
Yeah.
to the theater.
Yeah.
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 Well, and I also like to think that, like, all of like the people doing the TikTok, like, we're all coming from, like, we all just love theater. Like, my goal is I just want more people to see theater. So I'm like, I'm not like, I'm like, we're all on the same side here. Like, I was like, yeah, like, I want people to come see your show. Like, and I want your show to find an audience. Like, that's my goal because I love theater, and when theater succeeds, we all succeed.
Yep.
I
Yep.
absolutely love that you mentioned that, because that is what I found online in another country, and it was the community of people that loves theater and is boosting, supporting, uplifting theater just because of that. They don't have like a secret agenda behind agenda, more than I just want to promote theater and the art form with other people. And that is like something that a lot of brands and outside of the entertainment industry have been really wary about when using theater, when using influencer marketing, right? Um, so yeah, I cut you off, Kate. What were you gonna say?
I already forgot. It's okay. I'll remember at some point. Oh, just that I also think it's smart for them to partner with us to offer us tickets, because there are times, I mean, especially for someone like me that is, going into a town for a very limited time, I'm going to prioritize those shows that give me tickets. So there's definitely been shows that I've missed and haven't talked about at all because I just didn't get offered and my trip filled
Yeah.
up. And so I think it's it makes sense for them to partner with us, because then they know we're going to go see their show, and they know when we go see a show we're going to talk about it, with very rare exception if I just hate it so much and it's
I have no idea
I'm
what
a,
you could be referring to, Kate.
I made a video on that one, but there are there are shows that like if it's a smaller show that really depends on positive word of mouth and I really didn't like it, I'll be like, I saw this show, but I won't do a full review video because I don't like to talk negatively
Yeah.
of, you know, off Broadway
Yeah,
or
I feel that. I feel that. I try to do it where I'm like, if it's a show I see that I don't like I'm like, if you like these things, you'll like this show. Like the one that I can
yes.
think of, like the Hangman that was on Broadway last season,
Yeah.
like was not a show for me. It wasn't that it was like even like a bad show. It was just like it was not my type of humor. I don't enjoy watching people getting hung on stage. Like it's just was not my thing. But I was like, here's the thing: if you like dark British humor, I was like, you will very much enjoy this show. Like this show is not for me, but it's for you. Like, and that's the kind of way I like to phrase things. Like, I mean, I don't know if this is not a hot take, but the idea is that I'm like, there's an audience for every show. Like someone's show that some show that you hate is someone else's favorite show.
Yes.
I agree on that because theater
Yes.
is a plethora of a lot of things, and we can all find a space within the community, which is a really interesting idea. Um, I want to know what is an example of one of your favorite, if not the best, piece of marketing that you've seen from a show.
I mean, mine is that Shucked has turned New York City into Comic-Con, and I'm obsessed with it. Um, I'm from Southern California, so I've been to Comic-Con in San Diego multiple times, and they have captured that feeling over like the course of their entire preview
Yeah.
period. They're on the street handing out free buttons and free stickers. They partnered with a popcorn food truck and were just like driving it around town, and you could get popcorn. They had you know they were hiding cobs of corn around the city for free tickets. That's like when when I went to Comic-Con the first time, they were doing something very similar for like it wasn't Avengers, because Avengers wasn't out yet, but it was one of the first Marvel movies, and they were hiding like these gold bricks around San Diego, and if you found a gold brick, you got like a bunch of prizes inside. And I was like, this is exactly what Shuck's doing. And I'm obsessed with it because it's, it's a show that nobody knows anything about, despite the fact that they've posted their entire plot online. And they're just making it something that you want to talk about and you want to go see, like you want to be a part of it. And I'm obsessed with everything that they're doing. I really hope that they end up doing something for Broadway Con, because I feel like those two things mesh so well. And I want Broadway Con to turn into Comic Con, right? Like I want
a Shucked theme, like square dance party at night. Like that's what I want.
Yes.
Like
yeah, I agree.
A corn couture like runway, Yeah,
a lot of the corn food that they made fight each other online on the bracket thing. Like, let's do it live. Let's find a winner live. Yeah, I would. It's a really good strategy if you think about it, because I've seen their campaign on Twitter, on TikTok, on Instagram, and I have no idea what the show is about. Yeah. But I'm just like, I got my tickets and I secured them. Yeah. And if I like it or not, I know it's gonna be anyway a good experience for me, because they made the experience from the moment I engaged with them online.
Yep.
Well, and I think like I had friends visiting from Ohio who are like, they're like not like, I mean, they like theater. They're not like theater people. And the first thing they said when I saw them is they were like, what is Shucked and why is it everywhere in New York? And then we like met at the drama bookshop the next day, and they were like, and the entire drama bookshop was like Shucked themed. Like they had all of the art, and we went inside, they had like a set layout and they had props, and like they were like, what is this show?
Yeah. And you, Ashley, any piece of marketing that pops into your mind?
No, I mean, Shucked is honestly a really good example. I will also say the Some Like It Hot event that we did a couple weeks ago was like amazing. And I think part of the reason is that they really focused on like smaller creators who they knew were going to like make content around the show. Because I think there's this like drive to want to like get the biggest influencers that you can find to like make content. And obviously like some of them will. Like there are some big influencers that are not necessarily theater influencers who will like go see a show and make a video. But there are also a lot that'll go and post like one Instagram story and then like that's it. Where I felt, and part of it was that like I knew a lot of people at that Some Like It Hot event, obviously, but like at my entire feed for like 3 days was Some Like It Hot content. Like, and I was like, this is what you want. You want every single person to have like FOMO that you weren't at the Some Like It Hot event.
I got FOMO. Like I think it's 3,000 or 4,000 miles away from New York, and I saw all of your videos, and I was like, I want to be there. Like, I wanted to party with them. I wanted that umbrella. Like, I wanted to be part of that.
It came in handy.
Yeah, it came in handy because I saw a lot of you using that umbrella either that night or the day after. So I was like,
it literally poured rain the day after. I was like, timing impeccable.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it is. Like, and I
still need to post a video for that event.
Before we wrap up, besides Shuck covering New York and Some Like It Hot using smaller creators to boost the show or post about the show, what's a marketing risk that you've seen shows take that has totally paid off?
It's hard to like determine if it really paid off because we don't ever get to see
the numbers,
the metrics, but I would say one of the risks that I think ended up paying off, at least until reviews came out, was inviting the influencers to the Bad Cinderella press event, but like doing it through Andrew Lloyd Webber's Instagram. Like that already got that event trending before y'all even went to the event.
And the event was a press conference. It wasn't even an event. It was it was literally a press conference. Like that's the funniest part. It was like, come to this thing, and it wasn't like you got there and they're like, here's a swag bag, and here it was like, enjoy this press conference.
your hot take, Ashley?
I was sitting on the ground in Times Square being like, I'm at a press conference.
But you got the best angle, so it paid off.
I did, and like the video of me being like, I'm sitting on the ground in Times Square got like that got 1 million. The Linady video got 7 million or 8 million. Like every one of the videos from that thing like went nuts, and it was wild. I was like, to this day, if I went on TikTok right now, I guarantee you one of my last 10 likes is that video. It's like it's been October, and it's still every single day getting a like. Let's see. See how long it takes me to get there. It's like within the first 3 seconds of swiping, somebody has liked this because it's so wild. Still, oh wow! Today it's a little bit only because I posted too much video content today. Oh no, there it is. 2 hours ago, someone liked the Bad Cinderella video.
Wow.
I actually love that about TikTok, that it's not like strictly time framed, and the algorithm works in very, very mysterious ways, and content from 6 months ago is still alive on your feed.
And it's crazy too because I posted my Play That Goes Wrong video like a week ago, and then yesterday it gets 10,000 views in an hour, and I'm like, it's been up for a week. Like what? Like it's out of nowhere, and I'm like, okay. Like I guess probably because Neil Patrick Harris had just joined the cast, and so like, and I was like, but I wasn't at that show. Neil Patrick Harris was not at my performance.
The one that I always love is, and it'll probably stop now because he left the tour, but I had a video of me reacting to Chibeze becoming the official Orpheus that had like a clip of him singing, and every time the tour went to a new city, without fail, there's a new group of people that were like, I just saw him in Cincinnati. He was fantastic. And he did just leave, so we'll see if it still hops up or
is that video is at 25K, and I posted it like 5 days ago, and it just yesterday decided to like explode.
Wow.
Okay, last question. What are your top 5 favorite musical theater shows? I love both of your faces.
What's on my wall?
Yeah, I love that every single guest, when I ask this question, is like, what do I have hanging on my wall?
There you go. There's it's so hard to get it down to 5.
I'm like, I could probably do top. For me, I'm like, I can do like top 3. But then it's like when I get to then I'm like, but that one has to be there and that one has to be there. Like, but I also feel like, but I also have like recency bias, right? So like, Into the Woods right now is like, which I've always loved Into the Woods, but now I'm like, oh, it's because it's like I just saw it like 10 times in the last year. Yeah. So now I'm like, Into the Woods, like it's on my arm, like.
I also get like overexposure bias. Like Into the Woods is a good one for me, where I'll go through phases where I'm obsessed with Into the Woods, and then I'll be like, oh, I'm done with that for a little bit, and then I'll come back to it. Like I think my favorite Sondheim right now is A Little Night Music.
So good.
Yeah.
That was one that because I had never seen it before, and then this summer Kate and I saw it at Barrington, and I like shot up into my top 5 Sondheim of all time, and I had never listened to a song, and I was like sitting in there, and I was like, I loved it. I mean, I heard the famous song, but I had like
yeah. I mean, Every Day a Little Death has been my top. Like that's my number 1 show tune for like decades. So I feel like I have to say A Little Night Music. Legally Blonde is another one that's just really important to me, I guess. And probably Hadestown, In the Heights, and like Ragtime. We'll go with those 5.
Okay. I love them. Yes.
Oh. Okay, yeah. I mean, I would put Bridges of Madison County. I had to put a Jason in there. I thought about Parade, but I think I'm in the. Well, I'm seeing Parade again this week, so it might hop back in there. But Into the Woods, obviously Hadestown. Hadestown's probably number one as of right now.
Yeah.
I've forgotten every musical I've ever seen. What's a musical? I honestly might put Legally Blonde in the top 5. It's definitely in the top 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I'm staring at Songs for a New World, which is not technically a Broadway musical, but it's like the poster's right there, which is also Jason Robert Brown, but I'm boring. I'm like literally going back. I'm like, what did I see in the last 2 years that I can put?
And you've seen a lot of theater in the last
insane.
2 years.
It's insane. I saw 200 shows last year. Yeah, it was dumb.
That's wild.
It's great. It was Merrily. Merrily's got to be up there. I love Merrily Roll Along.
Yeah.
That's been in my top for a long time. The problem is, I think it's like everything. Right? It's like, what's your favorite movie? And I'm like, what day is it? It changes on the minute.
Right?
Like
I'm already like, oh, but what about Spelling Bee?
Right.
I love Spelling Bee.
And you saw Spelling Bee recently.
I did, with only 3 people in the cast. There were more volunteer spellers on the stage than there were cast members. It was wild.
Right. And then I'm like, well, I was like, oh, like, I was like, Waitress, like, that's up there. I like non-ironically love Brigadoon. Like, I love, like, Oklahoma, I love. Like, those are older musicals that I just, like, loved as a kid that, like, are always, like, shows that I, like, if I can see a production of Brigadoon, like, I'm going to go see a production of Brigadoon. I know, Kate. It's a show that I love.
To be fair, I've never seen it on stage.
Oh, okay. Well, then you can't talk about it till you've seen Kelly O'Hara sing it at New York City Center.
That's fair.
Next to Normal, like, I love Next to Normal.
Yeah. You're in Town's another one that I'm like, I love that show.
It's really good.
I've
never seen I've seen, like, my summer camp did it. I've never seen, like, a professional production do it. So that was a very long list of not any ordered musicals that I enjoy, which is not exactly what you asked for, but
fits.
The crown fits. I would even put Les Mis is probably in my top 10 because Les Mis was a musical that I love so deeply. Like, the way that I felt about Les Mis when I was like 15, like, it's hard to, like, I don't know, Rent, like, you know what I mean? Like, I have this list of musicals that are good and that I love, and then musicals that I just, like, love because they, like, at one point in my life meant a lot to me.
Yeah.
And so I think it's, like, hard
to choose.
That's true.
Yeah.
Like, Rent was very important to me at a very specific time. But then I look back on that time and I'm like, you didn't have taste. You didn't know better, Kate.
Right, but if you talk...
And I still love Rent, but...
Right, like, I saw the Rent movie opening weekend 3 times. I saw it Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of opening weekend, the Rent movie. And I thought it was incredible. I was like, this movie is so good. It's so good. Like, I made everyone I knew, I was like, we're all going to go see the Rent movie. And then I took a different group of friends. I took a different, like, that, but that was like, I'll never, it's like, that way you are when, like, when you're young and you just, like, love things so deeply. Yeah. The closest thing I can compare it to, honestly, was Diana in the December of 2021, where it was just, like, crazy, rabid love of...
For literally a week of December, because it closed the 9th. Like, it was...
But it was a magical... No, it closed the 18th. I know, because I am... 19th. It closed the 19th. I saw...
What closed the 9th?
I saw Diana the Musical. I'm looking at the December 8th, December 18th, and December 19th.
Oh my gosh.
I love that. Well, Ashley, Kate, thank you so much for joining me at Backstage Talk. I have loved this conversation. And before we leave, where can people find you? Where can people follow you and all your theater content on every streaming platform?
Mine's easy because it's mostly just my name. So just Ashley Hufford or Ashley_Hufford. Now I'll let Kate spend the next 5 minutes telling you about
explaining us her handles. Yeah.
Too true. Okay, so on TikTok and YouTube, I'm Theater is Life, theater with an R-E.
Hot take. That's not how.
You can spell it either way. I don't care. But if you want to find me, you got to spell it R-E. On Instagram, I'm Last Midnight. And then on Twitter, it's just my name, Kate Reinking. Nice and simple. Yeah, those are all the important ones.
I love that. Again, thank you.
Do you want to follow me on Mezzanine?
Yeah, my Mezzanine. We love Mezzanine. I gotta bring up my Mezzanine followers. Problem is, I don't really rate theater on there. I just track it.
Yeah. Same. Sometimes I'll remember to rate it later, but at this point it's just so I make sure I don't double book myself, because it's happened more than once.
It happened to me literally next week, but it worked out because I bought tickets to Hadestown, and then they invited me to go see the Leanna play, the one night only, the Eulogy Approach, I believe is the name. And I was like, yeah, I want to go. And then I was like, oh, oops. So I texted my sister and I was like, do you want to use my ID and get into Hadestown from TDF? Oh, wait, TDF, don't listen.
It's going to be way after this happens.
So I was like, oops, I double booked myself because I didn't log it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here. I have loved this, and I cannot wait to see you again in the city.
I can't wait.
Yes.
Thanks, everyone, for listening to this new episode of Backstage Talk. Remember to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Backstage Talk Podcast.